Did you know you may be hurting your cat without ever meaning to, simply by doing what feels normal every day? You feed them, protect them, talk to them, and hold them close, believing those actions clearly communicate love. But cats do not measure safety the way humans do, and intention is not the same as experience. What feels harmless to you can feel loud, trapping, confusing, or deeply stressful to a cat. That is the paradox at the center of modern cat ownership. Love can still create fear when species misunderstand each other. And because feline stress is often quiet, the damage can grow long before an owner notices anything is wrong. A cat rarely stages dramatic emotional scenes. Instead, trust usually erodes through small, repeated moments of unease. A shorter greeting, a delayed approach, a flinch, a sudden grooming spell, a preference for hiding rather than resting nearby. These changes are easy to dismiss as personality, mood, or age, when they may be signals of chronic stress. In this documentary, we will examine 6 common habits that can quietly damage your cat's well-being and your bond. Not through blame, but through behavior science, sensory logic, and the cold evidence hidden inside ordinary routines. Because once you see the world through a cat's body, space, and instincts, everything about care begins to change. Let us begin with the mistake that often feels justified in the moment: yelling when your cat does something you hate. A glass falls, a couch is scratched, food is stolen, and your voice rises before thought can catch up. To a human, the logic seems obvious. Bad. Action, sharp correction, clear lesson. But a cat's brain does not organize that moment through human moral categories like guilt, blame, or deliberate defiance. What the cat detects first is sudden intensity, volume, facial tension, fast movement, and social unpredictability. In other words, not a lesson, but a threat spike attached to the person who controls the home. Studies in feline cognition and welfare repeatedly show that aversive owner reactions are linked to stress and avoidance patterns. The cat does not reliably think, "I should not jump there again, because that object mattered to my human." More often, the cat learns something colder. Proximity to this person can suddenly become unsafe. That distinction changes everything, because punishment may stop a visible act while deepening invisible mistrust underneath it. And once unpredictability enters the relationship, even neutral moments can begin to carry a residue of tension. The home is still the same physical place, but its emotional map has changed inside the cat. Watch the body after a shout. Ears angle out, pupils widen, muscles pull inward, and the cat lowers its profile. Some cats run immediately, while others freeze for a second, as if the room itself has turned unstable. Later, the same cat may groom excessively, hesitate at doorways, or leave the room when you enter. Owners often call that distance moodiness, but stress in cats is frequently mistaken for personality. What makes this mistake so damaging is repetition, because trust is built through patterns and broken through patterns too. If your reactions are difficult to predict, your cat cannot relax fully around you, even when nothing bad is happening. Calm attachment requires reliable outcomes, and yelling replaces reliability with vigilance. The safer response is interruption without intimidation. Redirect the behavior, change the setup, reduce the trigger, protect the object. Teach with environment, not fear, because fear only teaches your cat to manage you. And when a cat begins managing you, the relationship becomes organized around caution rather than affection. That matters, because the next mistakes on this list build on the very same issue: loss of control. And few things matter more to a cat's nervous system than the ability to choose distance, contact, and escape. That is why the second common mistake feels loving to humans, yet stressful to many cats, picking them up whenever you want. You see them resting, curled, peaceful, beautiful, and the urge to scoop them up feels almost irresistible. From your perspective, it is affection, closeness, a way of saying you belong with me. From the cat's perspective, it may be the sudden removal of the ground, control, and exit all at once. Cats are not built to experience restraint as automatically comforting just because it comes from someone familiar. For many individuals, being lifted without warning creates a defensive physiological response before any struggle is visible. The body stiffens slightly, the paws prepare, the whiskers pull back, and the tail starts speaking before the mouth does. Some cats protest clearly, but many do something more deceptive. They tolerate the event in silence. Time equals 1 second / greater than. And tolerance is where owners get misled, because a still cat is not always a comfortable cat. Passive coping can look calm from the outside, while stress chemistry rises quietly on the inside. Research on handling preference suggests that cats show better welfare outcomes when they can initiate and end contact more freely. The strongest bond is rarely forced closeness. It is chosen closeness, repeated until the cat expects safety in your presence. If you want to know whether your cat enjoys being held, the best question is not, do they fight, but do they return? A cat who feels safe in contact will often reapproach, lean in, rub, settle nearby, or ask again later. A cat who feels overhandled may slip away, groom in displacement, or become harder to engage over time. This is not rejection. It is information about how your cat experiences your touch. The repair is simple and powerful. Lower yourself, stay available, and let the cat close the distance. Consent in cats is not a human projection. It is a measurable welfare principle built around control and predictability. When the cat chooses contact, the muscles stay softer, the eyes blink more slowly, and the tail speaks with less tension. That shift is the beginning of trust returning to the body, not just to the idea of the relationship. And once you understand how much safety depends on control, another hidden problem suddenly makes perfect sense. It has nothing to do with affection, and everything to do with vulnerability, exposure, and escape. Because one of the most misunderstood places in a cat's life is also one of the most biologically sensitive. The litter box is not just a bathroom. To a cat, it is a moment of total physical disadvantage. When a cat eliminates, speed drops, posture changes, and the ability to flee or defend is temporarily reduced. In that moment, the surrounding environment matters far more than most owners ever imagine. Many people hide the litter box in basements, laundry rooms, closets, or narrow corners for human convenience. But what feels tidy to you may feel trapped to a cat whose instincts are scanning for threat and escape routes. A loud washing machine, a slamming door, a hallway dead end, or a box with only one way out can be enough. Enough to create hesitation, partial entry, quick exits, or full avoidance that looks like a behavioral problem. Yet, from the cat's perspective, avoiding that box may be a rational safety decision, not disobedience. Feline elimination studies consistently identify box location as a major factor in inappropriate urination and defecation cases. Not just cleanliness, not just litter type, but visibility, predictability, traffic level, and the geometry of escape. Watch a worried cat near an unsafe box and you may see scanning, stopping, listening, and abandoning the attempt. Some cats rush through elimination with a tense spine, then sprint away as if leaving a dangerous zone. Others choose a quieter alternative on the floor, not to upset you, but because that place feels more survivable. This is where many owners make the situation worse, because they interpret fear as stubbornness and respond with frustration. But punishment cannot solve a problem whose true cause is environmental insecurity. The better question is not, why is my cat being difficult, but where does my cat feel trapped? An ideal litter area is low traffic, easy to access, and open enough that the cat can monitor the surroundings. Whenever possible, there should be more than one pathway away from the box after use. That single design change can reduce stress dramatically, especially in multi-room homes, with noise and interruptions. And once we begin looking at welfare through a cat's sensory logic, food reveals another quiet mistake. It is common, convenient, affordable, and so normalized that millions of owners never question it at all. A bowl of dry kibble appears complete because it is sold as complete, balanced, and easy to leave out all day. But the cat's body did not evolve around dry pellets as its primary source of daily hydration. Cats descend from arid-adapted hunters that obtained most of their moisture from prey tissues rather than frequent drinking. That means many cats do not compensate well enough when their diet is dry and water must be sought separately. Dry food usually contains very little moisture, often around 10%, compared with the far higher water content of prey. So a dry-only routine can leave a cat living in a state of chronic, low-level dehydration without obvious daily symptoms. The danger is not always dramatic at first. It is cumulative, physiological, and easy to miss until damage builds. More concentrated urine places pressure on the urinary system and can increase the risk of crystals and kidney strain. Studies in feline medicine have repeatedly found lower water intake in cats fed exclusively dry diets. This does not mean dry food is poison. It means moisture is a biological need often under-supported by convenience feeding. And because cats are famously stoic, many owners do not realize anything is wrong until illness becomes visible. A cat may not cry, complain, or ask for help in ways people instantly recognize. Instead, the body adapts quietly until one day the signs become too clear to ignore. One of the simplest protective changes is adding moisture-rich food regularly, even if only part of the daily diet. Wet meals, hydration support, multiple fresh water points, and fountains can all improve intake and urinary comfort. What matters is not perfection, but moving the cat's routine closer to what its physiology was designed to handle. The fifth mistake looks playful, harmless, and even affectionate, especially when the cat is still very young. You wiggle your fingers, slide your hand under a blanket, tap the edge of the couch, and the cat launches. Everyone laughs because the reaction is fast, fierce, and undeniably adorable in a kitten-sized body. But inside that game, a pattern is being written into the cat's nervous system. When your hands repeatedly trigger stalk, pounce, grab, bite, and kick sequences, your skin becomes part of the prey map. The cat is not being mean. It is learning exactly what the moving target in front of it has taught. Predatory play is not optional enrichment for cats. It is a core behavioral need tied to arousal, motor patterns, and relief. If the target is your body, the learning generalizes beyond play sessions far more easily than many owners expect. That is why hand play in kittenhood often becomes biting in adolescence and ambush behavior in adulthood. Research in companion animal behavior links inappropriate play targeting with increased scratching and biting toward people later on. What owners call sudden aggression is often a history of rehearsed hunting behavior directed at the wrong object. And once the sequence is reinforced for months, reversing it can take much longer than creating it took. The tragedy is that owners usually react only after the cat starts hurting them, and by then, the pattern is established. They pull away, punish, stop playing, and the cat is left with both frustration and confusion. Now the cat has learned two unstable rules. Human hands are prey, and the game ends in tension. That combination can increase arousal rather than resolve it, especially in energetic young cats. The fix is beautifully simple. Move the target away from your skin and onto a toy. Use wand toys, strings with distance, kickers, soft prey shapes, and objects the cat can fully capture. This preserves the hunting sequence without teaching the body of the human to function as the quarry. Good play should include stalking, chasing, pouncing, grabbing, and a satisfying finish, not endless frustration. When that sequence is completed well, many cats become calmer, friendlier, and less likely to invent their own games. And now, we arrive at the final mistake, the one that quietly ties many of the others together. It is not about a single act, but about the atmosphere of the home itself. Because a cat can be fed, sheltered, and physically safe, yet still live in a world that feels psychologically empty. Many owners believe a quiet, spotless, still room is the ideal indoor environment for a cat. But to a species shaped by hunting, scanning, climbing, hiding, and sensory change, emptiness is not always peace. An under-enriched environment can deprive the cat's brain of the movement, novelty, and control it is built to seek. No vertical options, no puzzle solving, no changing scents, no safe stalking routes, no interesting soundscape. Just floor, furniture, walls, and long hours of nothing to do but wait. Behavior science has shown that low enrichment homes are associated with higher rates of anxiety, withdrawal, over-grooming, and irritability. These are often labeled personality traits when they may actually be welfare signals. The cat who hides all day may not be aloof. The cat who attacks ankles may not be spiteful. Both may be expressing an unmet need for stimulation, predictability, and appropriate outlets. This is where the entire picture comes together, because stress is rarely created by one factor alone. Yelling adds unpredictability, forced handling removes control, unsafe litter areas create vulnerability, and dry feeding can strain the body. Then, an empty environment leaves the cat with no healthy way to process energy, curiosity, or tension. What looks like separate problems often forms one repeating loop. Stress, symptom, human reaction, more stress. The cat scratches because it needs outlets, gets yelled at, hides, then returns to the same unstimulating space. The cat avoids the box because it feels trapped, is punished, then becomes even more vigilant around that location. The cat bites during play because hands were the toy, and then play disappears altogether. None of this means you are a bad owner. It means cats are easy to love and easy to misread. The good news is that the same loop can be reversed when you change the conditions that shaped it. Predictability lowers vigilance. Choice lowers resistance. Enrichment lowers frustration. Moisture support lowers hidden physiological strain. Open, safe litter access lowers elimination stress. Toy-based play lowers biting. Calm voices protect trust. And because cats notice patterns so quickly, even small changes can start, altering the emotional climate of the home. Add a perch by the window. Rotate toys instead of leaving them dead on the floor for weeks. Create climbing routes, puzzle meals, hiding options, and softer transitions between social contact and solitude. Most importantly, begin asking not only what do I want my cat to do, but what does this moment feel like to my cat? That question changes everything, because welfare begins where human intention yields to animal experience. A trusting cat is not one that submits quietly, but one that remains soft, curious and relaxed in your presence. One that eats with confidence, eliminates without fear, plays without targeting your body, and rests without scanning for disruption. One that can walk away without being chased and return without bracing for unpredictability. This is the bond people think they are building when they say they love their cat. And the beautiful part is that the bond becomes real the moment your care matches the cat's biology. Speak more softly, handle less by force, protect vulnerable moments, feed for hydration, play through toys, enrich the world. Those changes may look small from the human side, but to the cat, they can feel like a different universe. A colder, clearer, safer universe, where your presence no longer interrupts security, but becomes part of it. That is how trust returns, not through one grand gesture, but through many quiet proofs of safety. And once a cat believes those proofs, affection no longer has to be imposed because it begins to come toward you. Love is not only what you feel for your cat, it is what your cat is able to feel from you.